I understand, how shocking that was for people, man.
Right.
On
Were you
that
shocked?
stage.
You seemed a little dazed afterwards. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
no, I was gone, dude. I was gone. That was a rage that had been bottled for a really long time.
Right.
The chaos after the Oscar slap was one that will be known for decades. Like, who would have thought that a man would actually get up on stage and slap another man like it's no big deal? And well, not to put the blame on Will, none of us ever thought there'd be someone making insensitive jokes as Chris did for Jada. But what we're going to be talking about today is that the anger you saw in Will is still there. In fact, the man is now taking that anger out in all the wrong ways. Today, let's talk about how Will Smith finally breaks down why he slapped Chris Rock, saying that he had to take out his anger. But before we continue, please give it a like and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me grow the channel so I can bring you the hottest tea every week. First, let's talk about what Will had to say. Actor Will Smith, the winner of an Oscar, was seen wiping tears from his eyes as he dealt with the consequences of his slap on comic Chris Rock during the Oscars broadcast in March.
Yeah, that was a horrific night, as you can imagine. There's many nuances and complexities to it, but at the end of the day, I lost it, and I guess what I would say, you just never know what somebody's going through.
Smith revealed this to The Daily Show's Trevor Noah on Monday's broadcast.
I was going through something that night, and not that justifies my behavior at all. I would just say, you're asking what did I learn, and it's that we just got to be nice to each other, man. It's like, it's hard. And I guess the thing that was most painful for me is I took my hard and made it hard for other people.
Right.
And it's like, I understood the idea where they say hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Smith, when asked by Noah to discuss the event, claimed he didn't want to go into depth about everything fueling his emotions that night. But he did mention earlier tragedies in his own life as contributing causes.
Yeah, it was, it was a lot of things. It was the little boy that watched his father beat up his mother. That's not who I want to be. I understand, how shocking that was for people, man.
Right.
On that
shocked?
stage.
You seemed a little dazed afterwards. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
I was gone, dude. That was a rage that had been bottled for a really long time.
Right.
I understand the pain, It was like, my nephew, Dom, is 9. And he is the sweetest little boy. He's like, we came home and it's like he had stayed up late to see his Uncle Will, and we're sitting in my kitchen and he's on my lap and he's holding the Oscar and he's just like, why did you hit that man, Uncle Will?
The 54-year-old concluded the conversation by discussing the struggle he has been having with his own humanity in the time since the Oscars ceremony.
That was one of the big things for me over this last couple of months, that I had to forgive myself for being human, and it's like, trust me, there's nobody that hates the fact that I'm human more than me.
Yeah, I know that. No, but I know that, yeah.
And just, finding that space for myself within myself to be human. I've always wanted to be Superman. I've always wanted to swoop in and save the damsel in distress, and I had to humble down, and realize that I'm a flawed human, and I still have an opportunity, to go out in the world and contribute in a way that fills my heart and hopefully helps other people.
Moving on, it's not like he didn't face any consequences. There were serious repercussions for the guy. For the next decade, Smith will be barred from attending any Academy-sponsored event, including the Oscars. Many in Hollywood, including the evening's hostess, Wanda Sykes, criticized Smith's actions, while others, like Pinkett Smith's Girls Trip co-star, Tiffany Haddish, and Smith's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air co-worker, Janet Hubert, complimented him for standing up for his wife. Smith published a 5-minute video in July in which he described his thinking and personal work and apologized for his controversial social media posts in the days after the Oscars. Since then, Rock has talked about the incident, including during a May performance at London's Royal Albert Hall, in his stand-up routines. "I'm okay, if anybody's wondering," he reportedly told the crowd. "Got most of my hearing back. Don't expect me to talk about the bullshit. I'll talk about it at some point on Netflix." Next up, let's go over how a lot of that bottled rage came from his home. Now, if you were wondering why he had that pent-up rage, like where did the anger come from in the first place? We've got some news for you. We all know by now that Will and Jada have had a very stormy relationship, and this incident proves to be the best example of the impact their marriage has had on each of them mentally. In fact, one of them admitted on international TV that it was horrible trying to work on their marriage. And they said it not now, but years ago. So we should have kind of seen it coming. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight from November 2015, the Bad Boys star said,
"Marriage was the most difficult, grueling, and excruciating thing that we've ever taken on in our lives. And, we're just not quitters."
Additionally, he provided some guidance, saying,
"If there is a secret, I would say, is that we never went into working on our relationship. We only ever worked on ourselves individually and then presented ourselves to one another better than we were previously."
Geez, maybe Will still needs to work on himself a little if he has all that negativity piled inside of him. And the fact is, he wasn't the only one being vocal about it. Jada, too, was posting on social media and hinting at the fact that while her marriage might look picture perfect from the outside, it has changed a lot, and not for good. Pinkett talked about marriage and relationships in an emotional Instagram post in August 2018. "I've been watching a lot of marriages dissolve around me," she wrote alongside a happy family photo with her husband, Will Smith. "It's been really painful. Marriages change. Sometimes they need to be reimagined and transformed. Sometimes they are simply over. But either way, I pray that folks going through this painful transition find the patience and love within not to throw the babies out with the bathwater." Smith said,
"There was a period where mommy woke up and cried 45 days straight. Every morning. I think that's the worst I've ever felt in our marriage."
Wow.
I was failing miserably.
During an interview on Red Table Talk in October 2018, Smith said that his wife had first rejected the life he had created for them as a couple. He said,
To have to let go of the picture, to have to let go of the dream was devastating. We essentially had to destroy our marriage.
Smith and Pinkett Smith both insisted throughout the show that divorce was off the table no matter how bad things got. We know how dreadful things must have been for the two of them, especially Jada, who has agreed several times while talking to the media that she never wanted to get married in the first place. It had nothing to do with Will and everything to do with the fact that marriage never seemed like an appealing notion to her. And then getting stuck in it because her mother wanted her to get married was obviously torturous. The story then got so much more twisted when Jada agreed to kind of cheat on Smith. Pinkett Smith claims that she and Alsina first met 4.5 years ago and were instantly good friends. It was about the same time that she let it slip that she and Smith had broken up. And if you had seen that Red Table Talk conversation, you'd be well aware of the pained face that Will had when she was discussing her relationship with Alsina. He looked so upset and sad that the entire social media was filled with memes and people bashing Jada for doing what she did. Now, if you take into account all that has happened in their marriage only these past couple of years, all the hatred that the two have shared here and there, all the negative words spoken and tears shed, it makes complete sense for Will to be filled with all sorts of bottled emotions. And hidden in all of these emotions was rage that he was trying to suppress. The suppression obviously didn't work anymore by the time the Oscars came around, and that's precisely when he unleashed hell on Chris Rock. All in all, there has been a lot going on in both of their lives, and we hope that no one else ends up becoming collateral for their trouble like Chris Rock did. Poor guy. And if you like this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.